Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey, hello there collectors, Steven here, and I'm back with another DC vs. Dark Horse set review. We just took care of the SDCC releases, so now let's go on to the NYCC releases, and we're going to start it with the Batman vs. Aliens set. Somehow, some way, there's a xenomorph that looks like the Joker, and Batman has to come in to save the day. But is Batman going to be able to move well enough to actually take down the Joker xenomorph? Or, is this kind of a junk set? Yeah. You might be surprised, so let's take a look to see whether or not these two kids are worth adding into your collection. This is going to be a disclaimer I'm going to put in all of the DC vs. Dark Horse set reviews. The paint on these guys is rather concerning because not only are we going to have some paint flakage due to the fact that the joints were kind of gucked up with paint, as you can kind of see here on some choice examples, I also had to spend about a collective hour to hour and a half heating up all the figures and freezing them so this way I could loosen up the joints and get some of that stuck thick paint to crack. So if you're going to be getting this set or any other set, you are going to have to probably put in some effort to make sure that they all work. Out of all of the figures, I only had one that worked perfectly fine on the box. That was the Sinestro Corps Predator. Everything else almost broke something. Like I made mention in my Armored Batman set review, this is going to be the vanilla body for the Batman used there, with just a couple minor paint differences because they were two different production runs, so yeah, they're going to look slightly different, but this is the sculpt that you see underneath. All of the DC heroes in these four sets use the same body. So sculpt-wise, it's going to be the same. You pretty much know what you're looking at. Just a couple of minor details here and there, like the gauntlets for Batman were changed up a little bit. We do have obviously a different head sculpt, different boots, so on and so forth. So those specific details, they do look good. It's obviously unique to Batman, but how well does the paint look for this guy? Pretty much, I do have to say it's fine. Couple of chalky, pastelish looking issues for the face, which Superman did have as well. And then obviously we're going to have some paint flaking, but it's not as bad as the other figures that I had. The rest of the paint application on the figure, specifically for the emblem on the chest, which the Armored Batman was missing, I don't know why, it does look just fine. Not a super duper huge issue, and if you're going to nitpick over that, well, then this hobby may not be for you. Batman looks just fine, and this cape that I actually pulled straight out of the box while I was taking pictures, no tattering whatsoever, so that is a good thing to report. Holy thick paint, Batman! We have the Joker xenomorph here, and just right away taking a look at it, you can see that that paint is really caked on here. It is super duper thick, but it does help to bring out the finer details of this xenomorph sculpt. And then, of course, we are going to have some unique paint applications on the mouth because, well, it's kind of bloody looking, or Joker's got them red lips. Yeah, this does translate well over into blood, and it's even found on the inner mouth that likes to extend and whatnot, so that's pretty neat. We do also have a green dome here to coincide with the Joker's nice green hair. Mine has a couple of divots here and there thanks to quality control issues, but I guess it's something you can live with, I suppose. Likewise, as I made mention in the intro to this review and all the DC vs. Dark Horse reviews, there was really thick paint which froze up some of the joints, which did cause some flaking of paint, and also this guy had to be heated up and then frozen all of the figures in these DC vs. Dark Horse sets. So don't be surprised if you're going to have to spend a minimum of half an hour on this set by itself. Otherwise, the paint application is pretty cool in its own creepy way. Yes, it may look a little thick, it may look a little gunky, but that sort of, a trashy, grungy sort of look that the Joker has, it is executed well in the xenomorph. Something that also kind of caught my eye is that the tail has a slightly brighter white look to it than the rest of the body, but I think that's more so in terms of the actual materials used for the tail opposed to the body, so I can't really knock NECA or anyone for that, but I kind of can, but I won't. Overall, the xenomorph does look pretty cool, and oh yeah, we got some blood on the tail as well. All right, for articulation, we're going to talk about the alien first. And, well, if you saw the Superman set review, you pretty much know what articulation we're looking at here, but let's do a quick rundown. For the jaw, it's going to be on a hinge, so this way it opens and closes. There you go. The inner mouth does slide out. On this one, it's going to be much easier, of course, as I make a liar out of myself. And I just have a difficult time grabbing it. But, come on. Let's show the people your inner mouth. Come on, buddy. Of course, I didn't have this much of an issue with the set that came in the Superman set. Okay. Come on. Well, you saw it earlier, and it's fighting me, so yeah. So the head attaches into the neck on a ball joint, so this way it can spin around, it can rock. Then there is a swivel here for the neck. So this way, well, technically it's a hinge. So this way the neck can move like that to support the head. Unfortunately, it doesn't really want to move on mine right now, so we'll go ahead and we'll move on past that. We do have swivels for the shoulders, so this way they can spin around like so. And then hinges, so this way we can raise and lower the arm. Now, you already saw that there were some paint scuffs here and there, so yeah, do keep that in mind. For the elbows, we are going to have a double elbow hinge, as you can see here. And then there's going to be a swivel where it plugs into the bicep and the forearm, which is good. Then we're going to have wrist swivels, as you can see here, and hinges as well. So this way we can move the wrists. The fingers are going to have a hinge, so this way we can move them up and down like so. Pretty cool. Then we are going to have a ball-jointed ab crunch, which does work rather well, as you can see. We can twist and turn the xenomorph. We can get them to rock a little bit, which is okay. For the hips, they are going to swivel forward and back. So they're going to move back about that far and forward about that far. The leg joints are perfectly fine. And then we're going to have hinges as well, so this way we can move them like so. We are going to have thigh swivels, which is good. Mine on this one were completely stuck. I had to throw this guy in the freezer for about half an hour before it would even budge, so do keep that in mind. We do have double hinged knees, so this way we can move them like so, get a little bit of movement out of that one. And of course, we are going to have swivels where the knees plug into the thighs, which work rather well. We do have a hinge down here during the middle portion of the leg, and they also have a swivel, so that's pretty cool. And I believe we're going to have ball-jointed ankles, which make for some nice movement when we twist and turn them. Not a whole great joint for ankle rockers, but that's okay. And a toe hinge. Okay, for the last few points of articulation, we are going to have a swivel where the tail plugs into the body, just like so. And then, as you can see here, we do have a bendy wire tail, which works nicely, but I'm just worried about it tearing one day. So the wire is going to start from about this disc, spike, membrane, whatever, all the way up to this portion of the tail. So that's a pretty decent length there. Just be careful moving it. You don't want to break it and have it pop through the xenomorph. Okay. So overall for the articulation, it's pretty good, but an issue that this guy has, like most newer xenomorphs with the dog xenomorph legs, if you will. Let's go ahead. He can have some difficulty standing. So I do recommend a support stand of some kind or very, very careful display spaces. You can also use the tail as a tripod, but that's kind of boring. Yeah, he's tall. Time to talk about Batman, but by this point, you should be very familiar with the DC versus Dark Horse superhero body style. We do have a ball-jointed neck, so this way we can move Batman's head around like so. So that's pretty cool. He gets some good range of movement there. We do have swivels where the shoulders plug into the body alongside hinges, so this way Batman can raise and lower his arms. We have dedicated bicep swivels. As you saw in my Armored Batman set review, this bicep swivel got stuck, and I needed to do some modifications to that to get that to work. So continuing on the arms, we do have a double elbow hinge, as you can see there. Works rather well. Just heat it up if it's not working, and it should work for you. And then for the wrists, we are going to have pegs where they plug into the arms. So we do have a swivel and then hinge movement there. We do have a dedicated ab crunch, so Batman can crunch down like so, and then he can crunch backwards as well just a little bit. So that works pretty well. We do have a waist swivel. At least that's what I'm going to assume it is. Superman can rock around a little bit for mine, but I think that is just a dedicated swivel. For the hips, we do have a swivel. So this way Batman can kick out just like so, about that far forward and back. And then we are going to have hinges as well. So this way he can do the bat splits. He is also going to have thigh swivels. So this way we can turn the thighs like so. accompanied with double knee hinges, which work just fine. For the boots, they are going to have a swivel as well, so this way you can spin those around if you would like. For the ankles, we are going to have a hinge, and that hinge has a peg, which allows swivel movement for ankle rocker, and then, of course, a toe hinge if you really need that. For the cape, unfortunately, as you can kind of see, and as mentioned in one of the reviews, it just sort of dangles there. There's no wire or bendiness here, so it's kind of boring, but yeah. Overall, Batman moves just fine once all of the joints are freed up. I know you probably like short, sweet, and to the point, so let's get to it. Batman's accessories include a right-hand part to hold a batarang and a batarang. Now, I don't know exactly why, if it was just dumb luck, if there was some paint scrapage that happened when this was in transit or whatever, but the batarang actually does look like it is translucent plastic painted silver, so you can actually kind of see through it a little bit. It does let light through, which is pretty neat. And then Batman does have the alternate right-hand part to hold the batarang, and the xenomorph comes with nothing. Yeah, NECA. No splayed hands, no support stand. Come on. Now it's time for a size comparison, and just to make this section easier in editing, I put all of the respective Comic-Con sets together, so this way you can see how big they are with your other figures. So for an example, all of the SDCC figures will be together, and all the NYCC figures will be together. Okay. So as you can see here, these superheroes look just fine in the 7-inch scale, and your Predators and Aliens, yeah, well, guess what? They're going to be your standard size. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Overall, this set is effective at getting the job done. We do have a nice Joker-looking xenomorph, and we do have a rather basic Batman who doesn't really have a lot of accessories. He definitely should have at least come with some splayed hands. But if you're a fan of this set, I do have to say it's pretty much worth the purchase. You are going to have to put some effort into making this set actually work because, some paint stuck to joints and this, that, and the other. But I gotta say, I really do like this one. It's probably my second favorite set. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand-selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand-selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.